Hello and welcome to the ScatterVolt channel, and today let me show you how to build the best $500 gaming PC in 2023. PC gaming doesn't have to be expensive. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a capable gaming PC that'll run the games that you want to run, but will also still look good at the same time. So in today's PC build guide, I'll be showing you guys how to put together this PC step by step, the parts going inside of it, how to install Windows, graphics card drivers, the 1080p gaming performance possible with this computer, and then finishing out with my final thoughts on this budget gaming PC. So with all that done, let's go ahead and show you how to start building this $500 gaming PC. All right, let's go ahead and start building this gaming PC, and all you're gonna need is a Phillips head 1 screwdriver for our M.2 SSD, aka where we're gonna install Windows and our games, then a regular Phillips head screwdriver for everything else, and then a pair of scissors, of course, to open everything. So real quickly, before we actually get into how to put together this computer, I just wanna note that all the components you've seen throughout this video can be found at your nearest Microcenter if you live in the United States. And I recommend that because if you want the best prices on the stuff I've been showing throughout this video, you're gonna wanna check out your nearest Microcenter, like I said. So once again, links to all that can be found in the description below, but with all that said, let me go ahead and start with the motherboard, which is the MSI H6110M G DDR4 motherboard. This is an entry-level motherboard, perfect for the CPU we're pairing up with this build, that being the i3-12100. Okay, yes, I do mean the i3-12100. I know right now you're seeing an i3-13100 on screen, but that's because at my local Microcenter, they didn't have a 12100 in stock, so we are gonna use the 13100 and use a BIOS update. So if you're following this build guide, don't worry about this step, but we are using the latest i3 in this build, when I do recommend the cheaper and better i3-12100. Well, better in terms of value. So there's your CPU. Let's go ahead and put this somewhere safe. Here is the CPU cooler that's gonna come with your i3. We're gonna go ahead and use this. By the way, thermal paste is already installed. Okay, here in the motherboard box, we are given our I/O shield. We are gonna need this, so put this aside somewhere. And look at that. Here's a quick installation start guide. This is gonna be handy if you don't know how to build a gaming computer, if you aren't happening to watch this video. And here we have a warranty card that we can use to register this motherboard from MSI. So something I'm going to echo a lot in this video is to reference the manuals that come with these parts if you don't know how to install or how to insert something into this gaming PC. Unfortunately, MSI here have a really cool and detailed quick start guide that you can follow if you don't know how to install the CPU, the RAM, your M.2 SSD, whatever you want. Always refer to this manual if you don't know what to do. Now, in addition to our motherboard and CPU, we're also going to need memory. So let's start with our RAM, which is this 2x8GB kit of RAM from Team Force, sorry. I got this from Microcenter as well. It clocks in at 3200 megahertz. It is one of the best available budget DDR4 kits of RAM, which is why we're going with that in our build guide right there. And then for our storage, once again, here's an M.2 SSD we're picking up from Western Digital. This is their SN770 M.2 SSD. Picked this up from Microcenter for a pretty good price. So once again, if you want to check out these parts that I've used throughout this build guide, be sure to check out your local Microcenter if you're near one to get the best prices possible. Check this out. There she is. So to recap, make sure you have your motherboard. Make sure you have your I/O shield that came with your motherboard. Make sure to have this quick installation guide on you if you don't know what to do. Here is your RAM. And here's your storage, which is our M.2 SSD. And then finally, this is our CPU and the CPU cooler that came with the CPU box. And there's thermal paste already pre-applied, so no need to get your own. All right, let's go ahead and install the CPU. So take it out of its protective plastic packaging. There we go. Again, this is the i3-13100F, but for this build guide, I recommend the 12100F because that'll actually work with our motherboard. So as you notice, there is a triangle here on the bottom left of the CPU, and there's a triangle on the bottom left of the socket. And you're going to line up both of these triangles in order to indicate that this is the correct orientation to mount the CPU. So align the triangles, and you're going to want to drop this in like that. Give it a little shake. That's in. And once this is all lined up, bring this back down and then push down this clamp. There you go. So this is what the CPU should look like in the motherboard socket. Now let's go ahead and take care of the CPU cooler. So again, we don't need thermal paste because some already comes on here, and it doesn't matter which way you orient this. Although this is the CPU cooler fan cable, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this near the top of the motherboard just so it's out of the way. We're gonna line this up with the 4 holes here on the motherboard. Should be pretty easy to find. And once they're all roughly in place, we should just be able to press down each of these pins. So we'll start with one on this side, like that. Then on the other side, see if that's in. Then one on this side, one on this side. All right, let's see if this is on all the way. There we go. So to know if this is in all the way on your motherboard, you should see these little pins stick out of these holes, and make sure that's the case for all 4 of these. And if that's good, then that means this CPU cooler is not gonna come off unless you pull these out. Don't forget though to plug in your CPU cooler fan cable into the CPU fan header on the motherboard. This will only go in one way because there's this little notch right here that's gonna line up with the connector, so you won't mess that up. Next, let's go ahead and install the RAM. So open up these 2 latches right here and take your RAM, and you'll notice that this will only go in a certain way because these little inserts right here on the RAM are different sizes. So go ahead and drop this in, line it up with these 2 little holes right here, and then make sure this makes an audible click. There you go, that is all the way in. Let's do the next one. Let's press this in. There we go. That is in all the way. Okay, so there is one thing we're missing. Go ahead and open up your motherboard box, take out all of this stuff, and there's this little plastic baggie here that says M2 locker. We're gonna need this to install the M.2 SSD onto the motherboard. So take your M.2 locker, go ahead and unscrew the top screw with your Phillips head 1 screwdriver. That'll leave just this. Then go ahead and put this on the far left hole right here. You can probably screw this in by hand. There we go, it is here. And then this top screw that came out, we're gonna go ahead and use to seal the M.2 SSD into this socket. So here it is, this is our Western Digital black drive. This will go right here. Again, there's this little notch right here. That means this will only go in a certain way. Line that up, and you should hear an audible click once this goes in. Like that. Then go ahead and grab your Phillips head 1 screwdriver. Bring that down. As you can see, the hole here on the M.2 socket will line up with this little, locker that we just had. So we'll go ahead and place this on here carefully, and then we'll go ahead and screw this in place. And if you screw that in all the way and have this little lever here facing out to the M.2 SSD, that should keep this in place, and now you're done installing the storage on this gaming PC. All right, now with your motherboard done, let's go ahead and open up the case, open up the front panel. We're eventually gonna put the motherboard inside here in the case, but if you see down here, if we open up the backside panel, which by the way looks kind of cool, check this out. If we come around here to the back, we'll see some items here, and I want to tell you what all of this is. And don't get overwhelmed. All right, in this plastic baggie right here is our case manual, some zip ties, and the screws we'll need to install the motherboard, the graphics card, and anything else we need into this PC case. You don't need to buy any extra screws or anything like that because it's all right here. And you're even given some zip ties. So here is the manual for the case, and just like the motherboard, if you don't know where to put something in, you can check it out right here. So you shouldn't be lost at any point when you're building this PC. And then right here are our front I/O cables, and this is gonna control your power button, your reset button, your audio jack, and all that stuff. So this big connector right here is the USB 3.0 connector. All these small connectors right here are your power button, your reset button, and an LED for your storage. Then finally, this right here is your front audio connector for like your headphones or anything that uses an audio jack. So before we place the motherboard into the PC case, Don't forget, let's go ahead and install our I/O shield first because our motherboard is going to be pressing up on this. So there's one side that is flat, the other side has these pokey bits that are sticking out. We want the side with the pokey bits facing inward in the PC case and the flat side facing out. So right here in this cutout is where our I/O shield will go, and we will click this into the PC case. All right, our I/O shield is fully inserted into the PC case. And with that, we are ready to drop in our motherboard, but there is one thing we gotta do. So what actually allows us to screw in the motherboard into the PC case is through these standoff holes here on the motherboard, which for the record, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes on this motherboard. And then here in the PC case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 standoffs already screwed in. This is actually more than we need, but that is okay, because that means all of the holes on our motherboard should be covered by the PC case. So let's go ahead and drop this in. We'll move this fan cable out of the way. So you may have to press the motherboard into the I/O shield a little bit to get it lined up properly, but the standoff holes should be aligned with the motherboard. So these are the screws you're gonna need to actually screw in the motherboard into the PC case through those standoffs. Now let's grab our Phillips head screwdriver, and one corner at a time, let's go ahead and screw in this motherboard. Now a method I like to use is that I don't completely screw in each screw. I just make sure it's in there halfway, because we'll tighten each of these screws individually once we get them all in. Okay, all 6 screws are now into the motherboard, and now with all of them kind of halfway in, I'll go ahead and go on one side of the motherboard and tighten this screw all the way in, crisscross and go to the other side of the motherboard, tighten this screw all the way in, then go to this side of the motherboard, tighten this screw all the way in, and then crisscross go on the other side of the motherboard, and rinse and repeat. We want to do this so that way equal pressure is put on all sides of the motherboard, and that's just good for the long-term health of this motherboard in your PC case. And with that, everything is in. One thing I want you guys to note is that we have one included fan with this deep cool PC case, and we'll go ahead and plug this into the one system fan header slot that we have on our motherboard. There we go. And with our motherboard installed, now let's go ahead and install the power supply, which for this PC build guide, I recommend a 500 to 600 watt 80+ bronze power supply. However, if you check out your local Microcenter, you can check out this Thermaltake, I believe, GX2 600 watt 80+ gold power supply for a really good price. I think around the same of a regular 80+ bronze power supply you'd find online. Oh, there's a problem though. Oh no, this is terrible. Okay, this power supply is a great deal, but it uses mustard cables. Oh, that is not gonna go down well. You know what, there's something we can do about it though. So if you're unfortunate enough to get a power supply like this that comes with these ugly red, yellow, and black mustard cables, you can get around that through using power supply extension cables like this that are colored, which I'm sure you may have seen in the past. Now you don't technically need these in order to have a working computer, but these are a nice visual extension to your computer, and I totally didn't remember that these had mustard cables, so it's a good thing I have some of these on hand because we'll use this to kind of spruce up the build guide. And installing them are really easy. We just attach them to what's already on here. Anyways, in your power supply box, you are given a power cable. You will need this to eventually plug this computer into your wall outlet or wall socket. And then here are 4 screws that you'll need to actually install the power supply into the PC case, which, just to note, these same case screws can also be found from that little case baggie that we unboxed earlier, because these already come with those as well. So now let's go ahead and install the power supply into the PC case. Now let's go ahead and put in the power supply into the PC case. By the way, fan side is going to be facing downwards. And then we're gonna line up the power supply with these little holes right here on the PC case. Grab the case screws that you see on screen that either came with the power supply or the PC case baggie, and we'll screw each of these in one by one. All right, that is fully in. Now, I know you guys really want to know how to install the graphics card in this gaming PC, but we're not going to get to that yet. Because first, let's go ahead and take care of these power cables and our front I/O cables. That way, everything is clean inside the computer for when we do finally install the graphics card. So let's go ahead and start with plugging in our front I/O connectors into the PC case. And if you don't know where to plug in each of these cables, those can be found in the motherboard manual. But let's start with the USB 3.0 connector here. It'll go right here where the USB 3.0 connector is on the motherboard. And this will only go in one way because there's this little notch right here on the connector that'll line up with the insert here on the motherboard. So we'll bring this around, put this in here, and there is that. Next, let's go ahead and plug in our HD audio connector for our audio jack on the top of the PC case. This will go on the connector on the far left of the motherboard that says HD audio. Again, find this in the motherboard manual if you're confused where this goes. So now let's go ahead and plug in our power supply button, our reset button, and our HDD LED. And this will go where our front I/O headers are on the motherboard, which I believe is JFP1. If you want to find out the layout for how to plug in each of these three cables, that can be found in the motherboard manual, but it'll go like this. So go ahead and start with your reset switch. This will go on the bottom right here. There's one pin to the right of it, so leave that open. Then above the reset switch is your power supply switch, or the power button. And then finally, the HDD LED goes next to the reset switch on the bottom, like that. So before we plug in the power connectors into the motherboard and our CPU, again, I am not a fan of the ugly mustard colored behemoth stuff we have going on here. And that is where these power supply extensions come into play. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this into the power connector. Again, these are merely cosmetic. These aren't necessary. You don't need this to successfully turn and run your computer. You can just have the regular cable as is, but I don't like the way it looks. So let's use these extension cables. Okay, let's plug in the motherboard power connector. Here's our latch here on the connector. Here's a little notch on the connector. We're gonna line up both of these. So you really can only put this in one way. Make sure this clicks in all the way. There we go. Now let's go ahead and plug in our CPU power connector that says CPU, but let's go ahead and plug in the extension cable that goes with this, like that. So now let's go ahead and plug it in. Same deal as the motherboard power connector. Here are the latches. Here's a little notch on the connector. You can really only plug this in one way. You won't mess it up. We'll bring this around, and there we go. Finally, let's go ahead and take care of the PCIe power cable, aka the power cable we're going to use to plug into our graphics card and to apply that extension. This will only go in one way. And we're going to go ahead and leave this cable just kind of dangling right here because we're then going to put in the graphics card next. Finally, for the graphics card, I have chosen the Intel Arc A380. This is probably the spiciest graphics card choice you can go with in a gaming PC build like this, because your other options are the Radeon RX 6400 and the NVIDIA GTX 1630. Now, in terms of pure performance, the Arc A380 is going to beat the RX 6400 and the GTX 1630 on paper. However, though, this is a first generation product from Intel because this is one of their first dedicated graphics cards they've brought to the market. Now, when this card originally launched back in the summer of 2022, drivers for it were pretty terrible and the overall experience wasn't the best. But from what we've seen with recent graphics card driver updates from Intel on the A750 and the A770, not only increasing their performance, but also increasing their reliability and end user experience, I feel very confident in recommending this graphics card because it's going to be the fastest out there for the price brand new, and the specifications I think will make it a better option. So a few cool things I want you to remember with this A380 is that it comes with 6 gigabytes of VRAM versus the competition at the same price only bringing 4. Secondly, this comes with the AV1 decoder and encoder, which is a really fancy way of saying this thing can record games in the highest quality with the smallest file sizes, and when this is brought to Twitch, you can stream with this graphics card at some of the highest quality with the least amount of bandwidth. So this is a very spicy choice indeed, like I said. And now let's go ahead and install it into the PC case. All right, let's go ahead and remove this little protective latch here from the PCI covers. Then let's go ahead and unscrew the 2 slots that the graphics card will populate. Okay, and with that out, let's push these. So go ahead and remove this little protective cover from the PCI Express slot from the A380. Then we're gonna line up this slot here with the topmost slot here on the motherboard. So let's go ahead and bring this in, line this up with the slot, and it's already in there. And to make sure this is in all the way, we're gonna press it in and you should hear an audible click. There we go. That is in. Let's go ahead and screw in the screws we just unscrewed to take off the PCI Express slots. Put these back into the graphics card. Let's go ahead and press this in and tighten back up this PCI cover protector thingy. And then finally here on the ARC A380, we're gonna go ahead and plug in the power connector into this 8-pin connector or input on the graphics card. This will only go on one way. Here's a latch, there's a notch, and make sure this makes an audible click so it's in all the way. All right, so the computer is built. We're gonna go ahead and install Windows onto this and graphics card drivers and get to gaming, but I do wanna note, yes, I am using the i3-13100 on an H610 motherboard, so by default, that shouldn't work out of the box, but I did do a sneaky BIOS update with a 12th gen CPU. So for those of you who wanted to use the 13100F, I'd recommend getting an H710 motherboard, or again, just sticking to the original 12100 that I recommended with that H610 motherboard. If you follow what's in the description, you'll be all right. But I just want to put that out there for those of you who know what's up. Anyways, go ahead and plug in your keyboard, mouse, power cable that came from your power supply box into the back of the computer. Flick the switch from the O to the line. Then make sure to provide power to your monitor, and then make sure to plug in the display cable. It can be DisplayPort or HDMI from the monitor to the graphics card. Don't put it into where the motherboard is. Put it to where the graphics card is, because that obviously does the graphics computing. And with that, let's go ahead and plug in our USB flash drive into this computer. And if you want to learn how to create one of these for yourself, then go ahead and follow the video that is carded on screen or in the description for how to create a Windows bootable media device. And we'll plug this into a USB 3.0 port here in the back. And with that, let's go ahead and press the power button. Now give the computer a second to boot up, and to recognize the Windows bootable media device, it should go straight to the Windows installation screen. But do note that this motherboard doesn't have any Wi-Fi built in, so you're welcome to grab your own Wi-Fi card or USB Wi-Fi stick. But if you don't have one on hand, then you're going to need to install Windows 10. But if you do have a form of Wi-Fi on this computer, whether it be built into the motherboard or through like a Wi-Fi stick, like I just said, then I recommend installing Windows 11. But anyways, you should see a little circle right here. There we go. And that basically means that we did it. And now let's go ahead and install Windows. Now let's go ahead and install Windows. So click Install Now. Here's where you enter your Windows product key. Unfortunately, I've already got that one from VIP STD key that I purchased earlier in the day. So now let me go ahead and enter that in. All right, that is all entered in. I'm gonna go ahead and hit Next. All right, that looks good. Let me go ahead and hit I accept license and terms. Next, custom install. Here we're gonna go ahead and select the drive that we're installing our Windows onto, which should be this one. Hit Next. And now let's go ahead and wait for this to completely install. Now here, let's go ahead and finish our Windows installation. So choose your country, choose your country. We don't need a second keyboard layout. So for the moment, since we're installing Windows 10, we can select I don't have internet. That is okay. We'll go ahead and continue with limited setup. We're just gonna put a name right here, call that user. Doesn't matter, whatever you want. All three of these can be whatever you want. Now for all of these individual privacy settings, I select these to the no position because they are just extra processes running in the background that I don't want. I don't want Cortana, and like that, you are done. All right, so from here on out, we're just gonna go ahead and install our graphics card drivers and should be good to go, but you will need Wi-Fi. So if you haven't already, make sure this motherboard either has Wi-Fi. If it already has a Wi-Fi antenna built in, use a USB Wi-Fi stick or a Wi-Fi card that you plug into the PCI Express slot of this motherboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this and we'll continue on. Okay, so let's go ahead and download those graphics card drivers. And remember, we have the Intel Arc A380 in the system. So we'll go ahead and type in Intel Arc A380 graphics card drivers into Google here. Then we'll click on support for Intel Arc A380 graphics, or we could actually check on the actual product link that we used. Either of these will work. So let's scroll down here. Let's go ahead and go to Intel Arc Iris Xe graphics. Now we do have beta drivers, but if we want the most stable version, then we'll just click on the non-beta, which came out earlier this month. We'll hit download, and this will hopefully finish up soon. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, let's hit begin installation. I agree. We'll just hit start and we'll let it do its thing. Okay, installation is complete. Let's go ahead and hit finish. Let's not reboot the computer yet, but this is our graphics card driver software right here. Shows us our current driver version, and we can always update if we want manually, or we can set that to be automatic. Anyways, here is where you can record your games, similar to what's available with Relive and Shadow Play on NVIDIA and AMD cards. There's your auto highlights feature, and here's how you can stream with the Arc A380. And with that, there's one more thing we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and restart the computer and make sure that our XMP profile for our RAM is enabled and that we have resizable bar turned on so we can make the most of the Intel Arc 380. So let's go ahead and restart the computer and spam the either delete key or F2 key on your keyboard. And finally, while we're here in the BIOS, we can go ahead and enable our XMP profile for our RAM so it runs at its full 3200 megahertz. And to make sure that we have the resizable bar enabled for our Arc A380 to make sure we're making the most of it, we can go here to Advanced, Settings, Advanced, PCIe, PCI Subsystem Settings. And then here we have resizable bar enabled, and we want that to be enabled again so we can get the maximum performance out of our graphics card. So with that, we can hit Escape. Go back to easy mode. We'll hit this X right here, save configuration and exit. So at this point you are ready to get to gaming, but if you wanted to upgrade straight from Windows 10 to Windows 11, then let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So type in Windows 11 download into your Google Chrome browser, click on the topmost link that brings you to Microsoft.com. We'll click here on Windows 11 Installation Assistance, download now, open that up, hit yes. And before we can upgrade, we gotta go ahead and get the PC Health Check app. That'll open up another window. There's our thing. Let's open that up. Hit I accept, install. Let's go ahead and run that. Check now. This PC meets Windows 11 requirements, all good. So we'll go ahead and go back. Here, let's go ahead and refresh. We are all good to go. Let's install Windows 11. So accept and install. And at this point, we're gonna wait and this should take care of it all. All right, let's begin with Fortnite, and let me go ahead and show you the graphics settings real quick. So here we've got it set to high settings, TSR low. It can do TSR medium, but I want the frame rate to be consistent. Then we've got temporal resolution set to quality and everything else at mostly high settings. Anyways, if you like what you see on screen as far as the recording quality goes, this is all being done inside the Arc A380 graphics card. Anyways, let's see if we can get some... Oh, we're far away. Oh, y'all. All right, whatever, man. I accepted my fate. I'm gonna die a lot. Just for your entertainment. Oh, y'all. Oh, y'all. Get me on the road, y'all. Oh, you can't run people over? Bruh. And there I go. I just love this game. I do it for your entertainment. So this is what I do, y'all. Because I could not be asked. I cannot be asked to go down there. I'm just gonna hang low. Oh boy. Hold up. Ooh. Ooh, oh, see, he was builded. He was builded.
I had him, and he had to build because he's a BITCH, that's what he is. I had him on the ropes, and he built. I won that duel. Oh no, now he knows someone's here. Yeah, just whatever. All these guys are sweating over Fortnite. If you like what you're seeing, you're happy with the frame rate, fantastic. I do not want to play this game anymore. That is it, I'm good. All right, we've got DMZ from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Here are our graphics settings. We're on balanced. We have Intel XeSS turned on, which is Intel's form of DLSS or AMD's form of FSR. It's AI upscaling with the Arc A380. Anyways, so far looking all right. This is a bad guy, right? Oh! Yeah, why not? I gotta get gameplay right now. Let me tell you, I like these extraction games way more than Battle Royale. You know, I'm gonna get killed though. Yep, I'm gonna get killed though. Load me up. I'll tell you what, the game's running good. This game is running really good. There's even motion blur turned on, which I hate to have on, but it's not impacting the FPS by any means. Oh my goodness, this game is running fantastic. We could probably bump up the graphics actually. It's running pretty good. Okay, you know what? Can we do it? Can we do it? Let's go to Ultra and see what happens. Okay, now we're struggling. Now we're struggling. I was like, that is too good to be true. All right, let's go back to balanced. Balanced is all good. Man, good thing we have Intel XeSS on. Oh, the game is running great. I don't know, people said Intel Arc graphics cards like were flaky. They had bad drivers. They crashed all the time. Bruh, where is the graphics card crashing? Where is the poor 1% lows? I don't see him, bruh. I am really impressed with this graphics card right now. What the heck? Probably need to benchmark the A380 versus not just the 6400 and the 1630. I need to benchmark it against the maybe even the 3050. No, that's stretching it. There's no way. Nah, that's stretching it for sure. That surely not. No, not. I wouldn't be surprised though if this is right up there with the 1660 Super though. That seems kind of likely actually. Man, this looks good. It's running great. There's been no stuttering. That's the thing. I have not encountered any stuttering so far. And note, I'm recording this through Intel's Arc software right now at the same time. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, can a $500 gaming PC run Elden Ring at high settings 1080p? Let's check. Yes, it can. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably need to run like at least 50 more games to encounter maybe like the supposed driver issues with the Intel Arc A380, but so far out of the games that I've played on this $500 gaming PC with that Intel Arc graphics cards, I have not come across anything that hasn't been unpleasant, other than Fortnite just being a terrible game to play in general. Ooh, maybe we're slowing down a little bit. You know what, let's take on one of these guys. Let's see if we can... Wait, is this a friendly? Nope, that's not a friendly. Okay. I forgot how to play this game. Yeah. Okay, maybe frame rate is a little bit low. If you were to maybe lower to medium settings, you probably get well above 60 frames per second, but I'm not complaining. After all, we're recording and playing at the same time through the Intel Arc software. There we go. I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, hold up. Eat it. All right, I've been told that Counter-Strike or any DirectX 9 game on an Intel Arc graphics card runs terribly. And to that, I have to say, well, as per some of the latest driver updates, they run pretty good now, I think. I'm getting into the hundreds. Yeah, frame rate is looking really sharp. Oh, I say that, but I'm getting schooled right now. When these cards initially came out, they performed pretty poorly on older graphics card titles because, you know, DirectX 9 is an outdated API. You ideally want to make your graphics card most optimized for DirectX 11 and 12, but hey, Intel listened, and they better optimized DirectX 9 titles like CSGO. And this is the same experience I'd have on an NVIDIA card or an AMD card right now. I wouldn't be able to tell that much of a difference. See, this is my bread and butter. This is what I grew up with. Fortnite is a kid's game. CSGO, a little better. Because I've got no complaints right now. This is running pretty well. Oh, that's lag? No, I think that might be it. I'm probably gonna call it. Frame rate is good, gameplay looks good. Hopefully it looks good to you guys, and let's move on to the next game. Okay, in spirit of the Formula 1 race season kicking off very soon in Bahrain, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of F1 2023. And yeah, if you like what you see, then this is what a $500 gaming PC can do. The car just loves to go to the right at the start. All right, don't overshoot the braking zone. Not bad, not bad. I'm doing this on controller. I wish I could do this on wheel. Yeah, this is on easy mode. Yeah, this is too easy. What the hell? Well, hey, it's entertainment. Game's running great, though. Oh, yep. Don't mind me. Just coming through. Oh, yeah, this is easy mode. There's our teammate. Let's go ahead and get him. Anyways, I've been running the game at, I think we're at high settings right now. We don't even have any FSR turned on, and it's running pretty well. All right, check out this braking. Oh, that was not on. All right, maybe I can catch first in this recording. That'd be pretty sweet. Oh, you know, I'm gonna send the mother of all dive bombs, and that'll probably be it. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Ooh! Hey, I tried. I tried. All right. Anyways, F1 2022 runs great. Got no quarrels with it. Again, I haven't even turned on FSR 2.0, which you can use on the ARC A380. I'm pretty happy with how this game is running, and again, we're recording and playing at the same time. But we gotta retire this car, though. That's gonna be it for me today. Okay, let's go ahead and play some Apex Legends. As you can see, I have nearly everything in the graphics section maxed out at 1080p. Let me go ahead and see how the shooting range is. And again, we're playing and recording at the same time on the ARC A380. All right, maybe the graphics, I'm pushing it a little bit too much. I'm getting a few frame drops, but if I lowered the graphics settings, this would be pretty buttery smooth. In fact, let's finish this up and let's try that out. Overall, though, this is not too terrible. All right, 73. I'll take it. Let's try this one more time, but let's go ahead and lower the graphics settings. Put this down to 4, 8, low, low, medium, 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 medium. We'll do high. I think that's all right. Oh, yeah. This is it. This is it. Oh, nope. A little bit of frame drops right there. Although I wonder if I turned off the recording, maybe those little frame stutters would go away. Or frame drops, I mean. Oh, that only came up once, though. I haven't come across it yet again. But yeah, I had a few frame drops in the middle of it, but it was still overall playable. And I bet if I were to not record and play at the same time, I think I'd do all right. Okay, we're playing Valorant. We're doing deathmatch because I don't care to play a full game. Honestly, it's kind of pointless to play this game because the ARC A380 is going to smash it. Oh, is that a bot? Oh my god, that's embarrassing. No, that's not a bot. This isn't CSGO. All right, get us the Phantom. This gun is decent. Anyways, everything is maxed out because it's Valorant. Again, it's kind of pointless to play this game because the $500 gaming PC with that i3 and ARC 38080 is going to do pretty all right. Except for my skills in this game. Those are not good right now. Oh, I'm terrible at the game. Oh, okay, that was a nice kill. That was a nice kill. Actually. Oh, see, I play CSGO. I know how to aim. Just people who play this game are severely addicted to it, in my opinion. Ooh. See? So far, I have experienced no frame drops, nothing bad. But it's Valorant, so obviously it's gonna run good in the first place. All right, I'm done. I'm done. That is pretty cool. Okay, so let's wrap up this $500 gaming PC build guide video with my final thoughts on this PC. So versus last year's $500 gaming PC, I'm pretty sure this one is faster because it has a better processor and around the same graphics card. However, the ARC A380, I believe, has better content creation abilities with that AV1 encoder and decoder. And as you saw whenever I was showing you guys the gameplay section, I was doing all the gaming and recording on the A380. And you can take advantage, again, of that new AV1 encoder decoder for really small file sizes while having really good video quality. So overall, I'd rate this. I think it's pretty all right.
And in terms of my end user experience with the Arc A380, I was a little bit shocked. I was expecting more glitches and more like weird things, but the most I got was in Apex Legends. I had a few frame drops that I wouldn't have gotten, say, in an NVIDIA or AMD card. That and the Intel Arc software was a little bit glitchy here and there. Sometimes it like completely blacked out and I couldn't access it and I had to restart the program, but that's as bad as it got. And I really do think investing in the Arc A380 now and seeing how fast it can go, like, I don't know, a year or two from now with more driver updates, with that 6 gigs of VRAM, again with that AV1 encoder and decoder you can tap into for better content creation abilities at $140, I think is a really underrated graphics card right now. As for the rest of the build, I think this is a step up from the last one. The case especially is just an evolution of the original McCube 110 that I used in my last $500 gaming PC build guide, now with a mesh front panel that you can actually get some airflow into. And again, as you can see, you have all the room in the world to put in longer and faster graphics cards if you decide to upgrade this computer over time. So you shouldn't really have to upgrade this case. It should be pretty good. I mean, you're even given a headphone mount in this PC case to put your headphones. Like, seriously. Voila. Anyways, this computer could be had just for over $500 if you exclude the custom CPU cooler that I added in for fun and the custom cables. So again, I do recommend you use those Microcenter links in the description below because those will get you the best deals possible on all of the parts I use in this $500 gaming PC build guide. And if you show up to your nearest Microcenter to pick up these parts, you can get a discount on the 12100 and the motherboard seen in this video. I think you can get a $20 discount on that note. So a lot of savings to be had at Microcenter, but if there isn't one near you, then I have links to all the other parts I showed off in this video in the description below on other online retailers. So that is all I gotta say for this $500 gaming PC build guide for 2023. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way till the end. You guys are the real homies. You are the ones that are helping keep this channel afloat for the moment. And again, for those who have been subscribed and have been enjoying and interacting with my videos for all this time, thank you so much. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and this is the ScatterVolt channel signing out.